Someone actually called 911, one of our staff, and said, hey, we actually have a structure fire at Bern Towers. At the same time, what we did, we simulated a fire up there by adding a smoke machine in an elevated area. Incident commander gets on scene, he establishes command. We do a customer interview, so we try to meet with the management and staff. And at the same time, you have firefighters entering the structure, and at the same time, you have someone doing a 360. So with the realistic of the smoke added in, this individual was able to actually do a 360, describe what he's seen from the exterior of their structure, in which is actually visible smoke shown from the 5th floor. We had key objectives that we wanted to see that they obtain. One was reading the fire alarm panel, making sure they knew where they had to go, make sure they had control of the elevators, and to gain access to the elevated area where the fire was. At that time, the fire department personnel actually established a water supply to the sprinkler system to actually make sure they simulated extending hose lines actually to the fire room, and we simulated a rescue out of the room from the elevated areas, and we actually extricated the person to the 1st floor. You're carrying about 75 pounds worth of gear when you're moving to these elevated areas. That's with your full turnout gear, self-contained breathing apparatus, hose, nozzle, and tools. To make sure everybody's out safe, make sure all the hazards have been mitigated, make sure the floor above or around the fire floor, there's no extension of the fire, make sure that no other necessary evacuations need to be done. And then from there you control the smoke, because once again you want to make sure it doesn't affect other people either below or above, and you try to evacuate the smoke as soon as possible. It's a joint operations. What we have is, in our incident command post, we have not only fire department personnel, but you'll have a police officer to assist with traffic control and management of the scene on the outside, and EMS. So it's a collective effort, not only by them, but then you have staffing from the building actually assisting and saying we can account for certain people in rooms that have been evacuated. So overall, it's a joint effort between all forces to overcome these types of situations. Once the scenario was ended, we left everything in place and we evaluated what we did and how we did it to make sure that we're on our game or doing the best we can. Communications went very well. We were able to see good communications taking place, personnel reporting necessary and important information when it actually needed to be reported. Some of the things we learned about were the fire alarm system, how it actually operates. We learned about how to read the fire alarm system properly. Some of the other things that we've seen with our personnel were the amount of hose lines that need to be deployed to those elevated areas and how we can extend lines further. Our fire prevention staff actually went out there and trained every individual, meaning the residents, and it gave us a chance and opportunity as a fire department to go out there and actually train in a facility. It included not only the housing authority, their management, their staff, the fire department personnel, the suppression and prevention personnel. We also included communications, the police department, and EMS, the overall training. It's not all about just training the fire department personnel, but it's reaching out to the community and training with the community at the same time.